Happy Saturday, everybody! Welcome to Venting with Us with your girl, Crystal. What is up, my little people over here? I hope everybody had a great week. It's been such a crazy week, hasn't it been? Oh my goodness. I mean, like, it's been like one thing after another, like, boom, boom, bam. What is happening? I don't know what is going on in the world, but you know what? Let's just get into it. We have a lot to cover and we have such a short amount of time. So, let's, what do we got? Let's start off with, um, let's go over the EBT. So, Trump moved and he moved hard, and I actually have to, this one I have to give him. Okay. And again, I please nobody post Trump. Blah, blah, blah. I just don't want anybody arguing on my platform. But he went ahead and he is going to force a lot of people that are on Section 8 and EBT off the program. My opinion on this is I am for this. I am really, really for this because one, some of these people are on social media bragging about how much money they're getting from assistance, how they've been on the program since they were 19 years old. Okay, so I don't feel bad for you because one, you should have had some life skills. Now, not for nothing, what I really would love to happen is that they take all of these people, okay, and they throw them in the city. And I know what everybody's saying, like, what? Is she crazy? No, I'm not crazy. You know why? Because it's been proven that people from the city are more survivors than your average people on Long Island and all of these other states. I'm not saying that everybody doesn't need to be on assistance. Obviously, I'm not a moron. I do believe that, if you need to be on assistance, you need to be on assistance. So let me break it down. Years ago, my grandmother, when I was taking care of my grandmother, my grandfather actually, let me go back. I got the back end story of this. So my grandfather used to take care of my grandmother. My grandmother was a housewife, a complete housewife, no education whatsoever. She completely did not go to high school. She didn't even finish middle school. She had no education. Those of you that know me, that really know me, and I apologize, that they know my story. So I'm going to share my story here with you guys because it's open, honest Saturday. So what happened was my grandfather passed away. He passed away from leukemia and pancreatic cancer. And I had to step in to take care of my grandmother. And, unfortunately, my grandmother, even though she made a lot of hustles and she did what she had to do to make, money coming into the house, that was not going to be feasible for her anymore, now that she was 63 years old. I remember going down to the social service building because she needed medical. She had lost her medical because of my grandfather when he passed. So at that time, I could not afford to pay all of the expenses. I had to be kind of like a mom would have grown up, basically. And I remember pulling up to the social service building, and I remember it's like it happened yesterday. People pulling up, in Lexuses, Mercedes Benz, Lincoln Navigators, getting out with their Louis Vuitton bags, their Gucci bags, their Dior bags. If you know, you know. Follow me on TikTok. Um, and it was crazy to me because you're coming into a place where is a place to help people who are struggling financially, and you're walking in here like you got money. And the bottom line is that what they're doing is, and I'm gonna be the mole, yeah, is they don't have anything under their name, so they look like they're poor, but they're not, in order to receive all of these benefits. Trust me, have definitely, I know people in the inside. So this was very shocking when I'm sitting there with a representative and she's saying that my grandmother, who only makes $500 a month off of Social Security, makes too much money and she cannot get Medicaid. I will tell you how pissed off I was. And I explained to her, I was like, are you fucking crazy? Where is she living? Where? She can't survive. She can't live on her own. Like, she has $500 and you can't give her Medicaid? I'm not asking for food stamps. I'm not asking for her to be on Section 8. I'm not asking for anything but medical. That's it. They would not give it to her. They said she made too much money. Basically, the way this is broken down for those that don't know and never had to struggle like this, I will explain it to you because my struggles are real. So what social service does is that they financially figure out how much money is coming in. But so let's just say you're making $800. Let's just say we're gonna throw a bullshit number out there. But yet that's after taxes. Before taxes, you're probably coming, your check probably looks like, or whatever income that's coming in is going to be definitely higher because it's before taxes. So it's probably like what, $1,200 somewhere. So you're like, okay, yeah, but I don't make that much money. What social service does is that they figure those numbers before taxes. So it looks like you're bringing in more monthly than what you actually are. That's doesn't even make sense to me because you're basically telling me I need to pay taxes, but you're not acknowledging that. So I don't understand what the double standard is there. That does not make sense, especially for someone who's only having Social Security benefits come in at a flat rate per month. Like, how do you expect people to live, especially in New York? I'm sorry. I didn't realize I could make $500 and live in a penthouse. So it was crazy. So I basically, I did what I had to do. Thank God, I worked for a company that really helped me out and supplied me with a lot of the medical. So I didn't have to pay for anything. But not many people are not in those situations where they can have that. I'm very blessed. And that was, that was a blessing from God, and I am so blessed that I had that. And I still have that. I still have those connections. Because I'm a firm believer that how you treat people, how you want to be treated is how, people are going to respond back to you. If you're an asshole, you're going to get an asshole response. If you're genuinely and amazing, you're going to get those feedbacks back. So I was born and raised that, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And how you would want to be treated is the way you treat people. So let's fast forward now. My grandmother passes away. I'm on my own now. Okay. And I'm struggling. So I literally said to myself, I'm not going to be stuck. We're going to figure this out. Found a better job, started making more money. Things were good. We were on a good path. Most people that are on Section 8 don't have a plan. During the course of that time while I was taking care of my grandmother, I was saving money. I was making a little nest egg. So that way, if something happened, at least then I had something to fall back on. That's exactly what happened. My grandmother passed away, and thank God I had that nest egg, because if I didn't have the nest egg, I would have definitely been out on the streets. So my issue with this whole Section 8 thing and this whole EBT thing is that, you have these girls crying about being removed from Section 8 and not getting their food stamps anymore, but yet you made no plan. Like, you've been on Section 8 since you were 19 years old. That's what you said. You're claiming this. So I'm just going to go based off of that. You're not giving me any more content than that. You're not telling me you can't work because A, B, and C. I can't do this because of A, B, and C. So when you don't give me enough content and tell me and explain to me why you have 6 kids and you can't work, that's not an excuse for me. I'm sorry. And a lot of people right now don't want to hear the bullshit. They don't want to hear those excuses. If you have 6 kids and you definitely cannot go back to work, why can't you work from home? Why can't you work from home? That's why these things happen. Oh, is it because you decided to stay on Section 8 and be and live this lifestyle for so long that you build no background, you have no work experience? Well, that's not anybody's fault but yourself. You should have been sitting there and going to school. While those kids were in their bed sleeping, or when you woke up in the morning, you could have been online getting your education somewhere. You could have been doing so many different things. You chose not to do that. So when you make videos and you're crying on the floor and you're like, I'm not going to feed into that. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for you. I don't. Because you did not do what you were supposed to do. What you should have done was take some of that money, put some money to the side. You should have figured out how to get a job during this time, because this was never going to last forever. What was your backup plan? There was none. That's the problem. You never had a backup plan. So now you didn't have a backup plan. So now people are now doing GoFundMe's for all. No, you GoFundMe. How about that? You GoFundMe. Because all of those taxes that you took from me and that I have invested, I've paid that to your family. Just saying. So, it's really, really sad situation that we're living in, but I think that this is going to be a good thing. They want people back in the office. They don't want a lot of people working from home. And I know what you're going to say. You're like, well, that's kind of being an oxymoron, what you just said. No, what I'm saying is that I understand about that. Okay, so you can't work from home. Why didn't you start a daycare center? Why didn't you do so many different? I'm just saying there could have been so many different options that people could make. And the problem is that people got way too comfortable. They got too comfortable. So unfortunately, they don't know what to do. And now a lot of people are stuck in a rut, and they're trying to now scramble and figure this out. And guess what? Those benefits, they ended. What today is the 1st? Yesterday. What are you doing now? Some people are getting kicked out of their houses. Like, what are you doing? What's your plan B? You got to have a plan B, guys. I think that's why a lot of people that are from the city, their hustle, their game is survival skills, because it's like I got to get to work. So guess what? I got to get myself on a train. I got to get myself on a bus. I got to get myself from A to B some way, somehow to bring in a living. And that's what we do. You know, I know a lot of people are concerned with what are they going to do as far as food. Again, you are going to have to really sit there and figure things out. I remember when I was working for another doctor, and I was making great money. I was making great money. Along within that, I was, putting money in my savings. I was, you know, doing things the right way. My doctor ended up making a bad investment, and his wife passed away, and he ended up having to close his practice. So, along with myself and many other people, we ended all losing our jobs, and I had to look for another job. In between that time, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be very honest. I couldn't get any benefits. I was still making too much money on unemployment. All I wanted was medical, because I knew there was nothing else that was going to happen for me. So when they said I was making too much money, I couldn't get medical, I thought it was crazy, but I already knew this game. So I went back to my hustle ways. You learn real quick on survival. You learn how to make rice in 50 million ways to last a whole month. You learn how to make pasta 5 million ways. So that way you can make things last. And when you're hungry, there is no options. I remember going into the supermarket and buying those 10 for 10 Chef Boyardees, because I knew that I can eat a can a day for 10 days. And I know a lot of people are like, how gross. But you know what? When you're hungry and when you need to survive and there's nobody else that can help you and you're on your own, these are survival skills. You don't even understand how many times I've made rice and I knew one can of tuna fish would last me 2 days. I knew, unfortunately, we can't. It's going to be harder with eggs, but then at least I can throw an egg in there every now and then. Always went for whatever I could get for 10 for 10. And that's how I did it. When people would ask me to go out, I didn't want to tell them that I was struggling. I would literally just go out, hang out, and, made sure that if I spent money, it was feasible. But a lot of the times I would tell them, no, you know what? I have plans. No, I got to do this. It was always more of an excuse to give them. So that way they would never feel bad for me. And nobody knew what my fucking struggle was. Okay? You would have never known the amount of struggle that I went under. So there's no excuse to me why people say, I need to be on Section 8. I need to have EBT because I can't go back to work. Now, of course, like I said, if you're in a situation where you have to be on it and obviously, it's detrimental to you, then that's a whole different story. That's a whole different situation. But we have a lot of girls that just want to keep popping them babies out. All right, what you gonna do? Because when we have children, okay, the main days are over. It's not about you anymore. It's about these kids. So you really have to say to yourself, okay, well, what am I going to do for my kids? How am I going to put clothes on their back? How am I going to, how am I going to do A, B, and C for them? As a mom, you always want to do better. So you're not teaching your kids anything by staying on Section 8. You're basically teaching your kids that this is okay and this is not okay. So with this whole cutoff, I agree with it. I'm for it. Let it happen. Go ahead. I'm good. So, yeah, that's all I got to say for that. You know, it's just crazy. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I know that we also were dealing with the deportation. This is something else that I am good with because, again, I think what a lot of people are not understanding is that the deportation is not just for everybody. The deportation is basically for migrants that are here without papers. If you have papers, and I know actually a couple of people that ICE has gone to their house and they've told me the steps. They've asked them to come out of their house. They asked them a few questions. They asked them for their papers, and then they leave. They said it was not a problem. It was, it was actually very easy as long as you have your papers, you cooperate, you answer the questions, you're perfectly fine. But this is another example of you not doing what you needed to do. Well, you wanted to come here and better yourself, but yet you didn't take the extra steps. Why didn't you get your citizenship while you were here? You've only been here for 200 freaking years, right? So I'm just saying, like, you should have gotten your, oh, it's not easy and it's really, really expensive. It's really, really expensive, but you're working. So it's not like you're not working because a lot of these people are working. You should have been saving your, well, it's hard to save and to work, especially with everything being so expensive. You got to limit your, I mean, I tell you guys, when people say things like this to me, it's very crazy to me because there's no reality and there's no conception to what their focus is. You know, you're living outside your means. You're doing things that I can't explain to you why this is happening. It's just, it's crazy. I don't know. Again, I've always been a hustler. I've always made sure that I've been on my game. If there's days where I have gone where I couldn't even eat, but I knew if I drank 2 cups of coffee within the day, I was going to be full and I can make it through the next day. I shouldn't have to live like that. I understand that. But you know what? When you don't have anybody there and you have to really pull through to pull your struggles, that's what you got to do. I owned one shirt once and one pair of pants and one pair of sneakers and had nothing and busted my ass. I'm not saying that I'm up here, but I'm just saying I did not want to be in that position anymore. So I don't really believe, and here's another one, because I'm sure I'm probably going to get this one too. Well, you don't have kids, so you don't understand. Guess what? I'm going to shut you down right now. My sister, who had 3 kids, now there's a total of 5. But at that time, she had 3 kids, went to school, got her college degree, became a psychiatrist, is making 6 figures, had 3 kids. What's the excuse? What's the excuse? I don't know how she did that. Well, she went to school. How did she go to school? She went online courses. She did what she had to do. Bottom line. Bottom line. And though it took her a longer time to finish, at the point is that she finished and she did what she was supposed to do. So now she can buy whatever she wants. She can live this luxurious life, but that's because she busted her ass. She busted her ass doing it. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I got a little tickle in my throat, and this coffee is pumping. First of all, I went to the deli this earlier today, and this deli right down by me in Patchogue. It's the best deli. Let me tell you, they really know their customer service. Um, I cannot complain about this deli. I love them, and they really go out of their way for their people. So if you guys live in Patchogue, and you know the deli spot next to the Stop and Shop, highly recommend it. They're phenomenal. Even the food is terrific. Um, but anyways, I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. So I'm just saying again, this it's not about, I feel bad that a lot of people are being deported, but it's great that also a lot of the people that have been deported have been rapists, they've been killers, they've been, all of these things. We need to get all these people out, so that way we don't have to worry about pornography. We don't have to worry about walking down the block. It's really sad the times that we're living in, and this, unfortunately, this is really what's happening. The other problem that I see is they're testing out a couple of states. For those that don't know this, where they're removing the work from home. That's a whole different other situation, and I get that if you're nervous about that and you're in one of those states. New York is one of those states where a lot of, and I'm not talking about the government employees, they want, in general, they're trying to get everybody that's working from home back into the offices or do a hybrid. I've seen this. I know a couple of people where their companies have been forcing their employees back into the office. This is a thing. You just got to do what you got to do. It's easy to go back into the office, but at the same time, the problem is with trying to enforce this is what the government doesn't understand, is that even, and this has happened, I can only express what's happening in the healthcare field. Right now, the healthcare field is the worst field to be in. Everybody is going on strike. Now, what people don't know, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, that's not true. It's great to go into it. No. Depending where you work, because of what's happening is a lot of doctors are choosing now to go private, and the reason why they're doing this in order to go private is because they can get away with more. So how do we stop that? Because as a woman, if you're a woman, and especially Latin, you're going to get paid a certain amount. If you're white, you're going to get paid the top. This is what's happening, okay? And I have worked in different offices. I have done human resource, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. What these doctors are also doing is that because they're going into the private practices, and I did speak about this previously, is that they're cutting off the 401ks, they're cutting off the lunches, they're cutting off the vacations. So now instead of when you go into an office where you generally would get 2 weeks paid vacation, now you're only going to get a week. Some offices have divvied down more to that, where you only get paid 3 days of vacation, and then they're including the PTO in that, which doesn't make sense to me. So my thing is that if you're doing this, why would I, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why would you want to work for that person? Well, because at the end of the day, I can get a lot of overtime. It will balance out, but then I would have to work 12 hours a day in order to be able for that to balance out. How do I know this? Because I lived it. I did it. I was working 12 hours a day. I was being a personal assistant to the facility. It's a lot. It's a lot. It could take a toll on one person. And if you're built for that, that's great. That's great. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, but you know what? I did it. I tried it. At least I could say, it's something that I tried. And it's not something I said, I don't want to do that. I tried it. It wasn't for me. I'm good. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I really don't see how they're going to be able to do that. But we'll see. Finally, I want to get down to the big news. I want to take this time before we have to wrap this up. Talking about hard work. I'm so proud that Venting with Us hit our milestone on TikTok. So I have to thank everybody in TikTok and YouTube, because I have a lot of people that have merged over from YouTube over into TikTok to follow my page. And thank you again for understanding that my page is all sense of humor. And for those, again, that don't understand it, just keep moving. But we hit a milestone. We are in the creators program, and what that basically means, because probably Chinese to a lot of people, is that every video that's more than a minute long, we get paid for it. We get some chinchillas, little cheddars in there. What I plan on doing, and what I'm actually excited about, is that I do would like to take the money that we do collect from that, and put that in as a donation to the nursing home where my mother is currently at. I think that would be, because it's coming from everybody and everybody is contributing. I would love to take those funds and donate that and do something great with it, because it's not about me making the videos. I am the prop. I am the prop. You guys inspire me every single day to make those videos. So I appreciate you guys. I'm not going to cry. Don't worry. I'm just very happy. I'm very excited. It was a lot of hard work. I had a lot of people tell me I was going to fail. So the fact that we have successfully reached this milestone is huge for me, because it's kind of that I told you it was going to work. Told you it was going to work. And if you would have just done the work and put in the hard work the way I did, it just would have all panned out. So, everything in life is hard work. It's hard work. You really, 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 when you work hard, God will bless you in many, 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 many ways. I've really struggled. My heart goes for all those people out there that are suffering. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm here. I made it. If I could do it, you guys can do it. I believe in you guys. I want everybody to succeed. And if anybody ever tells you you're gonna fail, you tell them, okay, thank you. Thank you for giving me that energy to keep pushing, to keep opening doors, to keep getting myself out there. You keep doing that, all right? So, I hope everybody has a great week. We will be back next week with, we're probably going to talk a little bit about this Blake Lively stuff. Oh my God, this is getting out of control. But yeah, have a great week, guys. Enjoy your weekends. Love you.